Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this episode of GBear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And today started off clear blue skies, a little on the cold side early this morning. I used the time to go get some groceries, and then I came back and I did things like we are over here by the chicken coop, and I cleaned out the inside of the chicken coop, I cleaned the outside of the chicken coop, and I tilled all of their soil in there so they can go scratching around and doing their thing. And they're all fed, they've had their treats. I tossed them in some pieces of green grass and other stuff in there, and they're having fun with that stuff. So I got that done, and let me turn on the electric fence here. Now, there wasn't supposed to be any more rain until Thursday, but I don't know about you, but that's rain over there. At least it looks like it to me. And that's rain over there. That one's heading right towards me, so who knows. And then if I move around over here on the other side of the coop, that's rain over there. So I don't know what they're talking about. You know, I think somebody closed the shades on the window in the weather room so they can't see outside. Anyway, yeah, we had some pretty cold weather. Had a mixture of rain and snow yesterday morning, and never really did get warm over here. It was 39 degrees on the compound here for the early morning, and that's about all we ever saw. As you can see, there's no wind blowing now. The turbine's at a standstill, but that thing has been cranking out a lot of electricity for the past 4 or 5 days. We've had 24-hour winds non-stop except for 1 hour, one little measly hour where I said, oh, the wind died down. It was 7 miles an hour. And then all of a sudden I heard the gust again, and I looked outside and it was 22. So we've had winds in the 20-mile-an-hour range now for like 5 days straight or so. Oh my God. I'm not complaining. Made a lot of electricity, and instead of dump loading it all, I just turned the electric heater on in the cabin, and then the propane heater didn't have to run, so I saved some money. So my turbine is paying itself back already, although today it's taken a day off. It's not working. I guess it's tired from all of the hard work I gave it all the last few days here. But anyway, it looks like we're going to get some rain here pretty soon, so I figured I'd better get this video shot. My ATV is covered up. It has been for the duration because of all of the rain out here. I had the girls out free ranging today while I cleaned out their coop, and then when they saw me turning the soil over in there, they got curious and they all came back inside the coop. That's where they are now. Anyway, I'm going to be getting some things done here pretty soon when the weather breaks. I'm going to, one of the things I got to do is, you can see I've got an extension cord running here so I can run tools inside the container. Well, that's a 100-foot extension cord, and even though it is 12 gauge, that's a big voltage drop coming across here, and then that plugs into power strips along both sides of my workbenches. And by the time it gets to the end of the power strip, I've lost quite a bit of voltage there. Now, I'm going to be running a permanent circuit over here, and I'll be right about on the O there, right at the bottom of the O. I'll be punching through right there and putting in a panel box, a sub panel inside the container. And the sub panel will be a 60 amp. And I've already got the 60 amp breaker in my main panel, but I've got a trench all the way from over here. I'll show you where it's coming from. I planned for this way ahead of time. Not the white box there, that's 120 volt. And to cut that off so nobody else uses it, it just plugs into my inverter inside. So I just unplug it from the inside and lock the door. But that gray box right there actually houses the 6 gauge wire coming off my 60 amp, and then I'm going to be running down under the ground with 1.5 inch plastic conduit, and then I got to come around here and go straight up over to the O. So that's where all the trenches got to be. And I got to get down about 18 inches too with that, so that I'm safe. And then I'll also have to mark it that it's buried power lines, but it'll be in conduit, so I'll be fine. And then, of course, in the future, I'm going to have a patio out here, so it'll be under the patio. I won't have to worry about it there. And I might have to put a J-box on that end pole of the on the other side of the barrels there, because the 6-gauge wire I've got is 50 feet. And I think I measured this. It came out to 63 feet, so I'm going to be a little short. So what I'll do is I'll come off that box, come over to another box here, and then come out of that box and run over to the container. Then once I get that wired in there, I can start running my EMT all through the container and get all my circuits in there. I'm only going to run, because it's a 60 amp sub panel, I'm only going to run 3 20 amp breakers in there. And I'll set them up as a commercial setup with EMT and commercial 4x boxes with the proper covers and all of that on it. Because I'm one person, I'm not going to be running multiple tools at once. It'll be one tool do the job and then move to another tool. But then this is all going to get covered over here in the near future, and that back wall is going to get closed off with a pretty wide door, maybe a 48-inch door, so I can bring tools in and out from that side, and also get my ATV in and out from that side. And then I can close that off on the windy, cold days, and I can work inside of here. So I'll also put a couple of outlet boxes along that wall so that I can work out here, cutting large pieces of plywood and things like that. And all of this stuff is going to all get stored, and I'll have an overhead storage area between the ceiling and the roof over here, so that I could get things up out of the way that I don't use very often, like my racks there for the to get the ATV on a trailer. So since I'm no longer taking it camping, I really don't have to load it up unless I go to do a job for somebody. And then I'll also run a conduit across the overhead and into this container. The only thing I need in this container is to run a couple of brass polishers and a couple of lights, and that's it. So this container is going to be like a food grade, my little office, things like that. I don't really need that much in there. And I will put a computer in there, and I don't have to run any wires over for the computer, except of course the AC power. But I do have Wi-Fi here on the compound through my cradle point. And that's all wireless internet, so I don't have satellite dishes or anything like that, just a little box inside the cabin. And then my next project also is this summer is to get a platform built all the way around that container, and then I'm going to stack it with those blue barrels all the way around. They're about half as tall as the container, so that works out for me. And I'm going to pipe it so that when I'm filling the container, I open a valve and it also fills those barrels. Once the barrels are full, I can do that while the guy's filling. I can look in any one of the barrels and watch them fill up. And when they get to the top and the water comes out the top, I shut off one valve, and then he finishes filling the main tank. So then when I start using water, I use water down to the halfway mark, and then I can open the valve and I can use water out of the tank and the barrels all at once. So that'll give me a lot more water storage at a fraction of the cost. All right, that's about it. I've had this grader, my drag sled grader out, and I graded all the roads. You can see they look pretty neat here. And my other trailer there is all ready to go whenever I need to go pick up large items. And all these poles here, I'm going to use those for marker poles down the line here around the property, so that I can put signs on there, you know, like private property, things like that. All right, that's about all I can tell you for today. Like I said, I've been cabin bound for quite a while with the bad weather. And that rain really looks like it's it's going to give me a little bit of water. So that's cool, because it was just over there for a while ago, and now it's coming all the way over to this point. So who knows, if it goes into those mountains, the water runs downhill and my streams will get some water in them, maybe. The ground here is quite porous, so a lot of the water goes into the ground before it gets down this far. The ground has to be completely saturated, and right now it is. So I'll quit rambling. I'll remind you, give me a thumbs up down there if you like my videos, if you want to keep seeing them. If you have anything in particular you need to know, you can ask me in the comment section below. Leave a comment, ask a question, drop a link, whatever you'd like to do. GBear signing off.